I walked into the room with my shoulders tight and my heartbeat pounding clearly in my chest. The room wasn't big, but the cold overhead light and the ticking of the antique wall clock made it feel like I was standing in the center of a courtroom. Every eye turned toward me. No greetings, no friendly gestures. The air was thick, like they had gathered here to cast me out of their lives once and for all. The long table was covered in a white cloth. Dark leather chairs lined up neatly on both sides, more fitting for a dispute than a memorial. I gripped the hand of my 8-year-old daughter, Lily. She looked up at me, her clear gray eyes reflecting the worry I was trying to hide. I smiled at her stiffly, but just enough to keep her world from crumbling. "Karen, I see you still had the nerve to show up." The voice dropped the temperature in the room a few more degrees. That was Meredith, my sister. Her blonde hair was pinned up, lipstick a shade of red straight out of a 1950s fashion magazine. But her words were as sharp as a blade wrapped in silk. "Guess you didn't get the memo that Dad cut you out of the will last year." I didn't respond. There was no need to. I'd anticipated this kind of welcome, yet my heart never really got accustomed to being brushed off by my own flesh and blood. I quietly pulled out the chair for Lily and took the seat next to her. It was the only one left, way over at the far end of the table, as far from the center as possible. At that moment, my Uncle Martin leaned back in his chair and let out a dry laugh, like he'd just finished watching a dark comedy. "I thought you'd at least have the decency to stay away," he said without looking at me. "Or are you here to say a final sorry to your father, though it's far too late for that?" Lily curled inward, her tiny hands clutching the hem of her dress. I laid my hand over hers gently, soothing, but my eyes remained alert, scanning every look from the people around us. Those who once called me niece, sister, daughter, now they looked at me like a stranger, like my presence alone was an offense to this family. I couldn't remember the last time someone called me sister. Ever since I left the house after my marriage fell apart, I had been erased from every holiday, every phone call, every family story. Meredith told the tale of me leaving like it was a stain she had to bear, a burden she had to carry, because I abandoned our father. No one asked why, no one cared to know why I left with Lily when she was just 3 months old and I hadn't even recovered from my C-section. I looked around the room, once our father's small library. Old photos still hung on the walls, but I was missing from everyone. They had cropped me out of the frames and out of memory. Meredith was whispering something into her husband's ear, the man who'd never once welcomed me. Next to them sat our cousins, watching like they already knew the ending, just waiting for their happily ever after. The door opened. My father's personal lawyer, Mr. Donald, stepped in, carrying a brown leather briefcase and a thick file. The sound of his shoes was slow but certain. He nodded to everyone, but when his eyes met mine, he paused longer, not with sympathy, but consideration. Everyone in the room thought they knew what was coming. They believed I had come to confirm once and for all that I had nothing, no message, no memento, no explanation. But they didn't know I wasn't here to beg. I was here because my daughter had said something to me yesterday. "Mom, if Grandpa still remembers you, you need to know. Let's go, okay?" And I said yes, not for my father, for Lily, because she deserved to know the truth, whether it was a long, heavy silence or a surprise no one saw coming. I breathed slowly,